Sports check on this Monday morning. It's the 17th day of April 2023. Keeping up with what's happening in the news, parliamentary committees meeting to discuss various things, especially the Auditor General's report of the financial year ended 30th June 2021. So that's happening at the precincts of Parliament and also the offices that are there. Plus also just an information for you is that the Kenya Airports Authority have announced that Jomo Kenyatta International Airport has been closed. This is after a cargo plane failed to take off. So the safety of the people who are working there, the passengers who are supposed to come in and out of the country is paramount for the Kenya Airports Authority. So all flights in and out of the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport have been suspended. And once the airport is clear, is okay for landing and takeoff, we shall be informing you, and the Kenya Airports Authority will pass that message. Now, on to our second conversation on Sports Check this morning, and this is about rugby. Kenya is going to be hosting 3 events. Saturday is when Kenya will be playing against Uganda. This is in the quarterfinals of the Barthes Cup. This is Rugby Africa's Under-20 Championships. 8 nations will be in the country, so for that 8-day competition. This is the quarterfinals on the 22nd, the semifinals on the 26th, and the final on the 30th. So those are 3 matches that are there. Then there is a big one. It's as big as it comes for under-20 rugby. It's the second largest under-20 tournament, the Junior World Rugby Trophy. Kenya last hosted it in 2009. And there was a youngster known as Collins Obaye, who's now become a 2-time champion in the 400 meters. Moved left rugby, went to the track. And the Simbas, that is the Kenya 15-a-side national team, are playing in the Currie Cup First Division. So quite a lot of activity for the newly elected board of the Kenya Rugby Union. They get into office, they've got a lot on their plate, and they've got to serve it and make sure that it gets to all. To speak about that, we've got the Vice Chair of the Kenya Rugby Union, Moses Ndale, who's also leading the organization of the Barthes Cup. Kenya versus Uganda on Saturday. That's going to be the final match. Namibia playing against Zambia. So the winner of Namibia versus Zambia is going to play the winner of Kenya versus Uganda. Madagascar versus Tunisia. And Zimbabwe, the defending champions, playing against Cote d'Ivoire. Moses, thank you for being with us this morning. Again, Kenya has been picked by Rugby Africa to host the Barthes Cup 3 years straight. Tell us, how Rugby Africa basically has decided let this tournament stay here in Nairobi.
First of all, Wahome, thank you for having me. I think it's a trust that Rugby Africa has seen in Kenya, and we are organizing our tournament. And first, we need to talk about Barthes Cup. Barthes Cup came through Jean-Luc Barthes. That's the name we came for it. But Jean passed on in 2016. And Barthes Cup is like a pathway for Africa to join the JWRT, as you said. For us, it's a serious tournament because it's like we're preparing for the big one, the JWRT. As you said, we have 8 teams that are coming to play, and of course, Kenya being the host will be part of it. But you see now, Africa is also going to be lucky, because you're going to have 2 teams. Because Kenya being the host, then we basically qualify for the JWRT, whom we are joining the likes of Spain from Europe, Samoa from Oceania, and then from South America and Hong Kong from Asia. So whoever will be number 2 in the Barthes Cup, basically, if Kenya, I believe, why I'm saying number 2 is because I believe Kenya is going to win, as we did in 2019. That's
and also 2021. Eventually, Kenya going to play in Brazil.
Exactly. Yes.
So now let's talk basically about this tournament and lessons learned from the last 2 editions. I think 2021 was played at the Lions, then KCB. Yes. Then now 2019. Yeah, 2019. Yeah. Then. Moving on now, the other tournament is the Nyayo National Stadium.
Yes, yes.
Maybe you could just tell us the selection of facilities, because rugby diehards want it up at Ngong Road.
Looking at the facilities, you see, basically this tournament has been organized by Rugby Africa. We are the host, but basically it's been controlled by Rugby Africa through Kenya as one of the members of Rugby Africa. The reason we chose Nyayo is because of the facility, the standards of facility in Nyayo Stadium at the moment. And looking at the numbers that we are trying to push to come for Kenya for that tournament, basically we felt that Ngongoro, though, is the home of rugby, I know. With the days that I used to play, I could say Ngongoro is the main home of rugby. It's still the home of rugby. Yeah. But at the end of the day, we are looking at what numbers are we looking at, right? Because at the end, what we are planning to do is that we've actually made the entry fee pocket friendly. Because you'll see that the regular tickets are 100 shillings, and then the VIP tickets, there'll be 500 in particular days, and then there'll be 1,000 shillings for the finals and for the finals. So what really informed us to go for Nyayo Stadium basically is because of the facility. It's really improved. We were there just the other week with my chairman, Sasha, and the rest of the committee to look at the facility. And to be honest, we were impressed on what we saw. And that's actually what we've been pushing to go that way.
Actually, 10 years ago, when Fari Sevens was up there, and I think Mwangi Modhe's administration was in charge, they wanted to push for, having a leg of the 7th series or a tier 2 competition, a World Rugby tier 2 competition at 7th hosted. First of all, just tell us about the dressing room facilities you saw at Nyayo, because ideally you've got to accommodate 8 teams. Yes,
you see, basically the dressing room in any competition will be for the 2 teams that are about to enter into the pitch and play. The dressing room, Wahome are good. They're in good condition, and I know the president of Rugby Africa, Bonamensa, is coming to the country shortly. I think the end of this week for the tournament, and we are trying to, as much as possible, to show what we Kenyans are made of. And the dressing room, as you've asked, for me, as the chairman of the Barthes Cup, I can say that I'm really impressed and I'm happy to go with it.
The playing surface, because I know on Saturday it's going to take a pounding. 4 matches, rugby, people in boots and all, the different phases in play. It's going to be heavy.
Yes, looking at the weather, we are praying and hoping that the ground will hold. It's not the first time that we hold it there. That's the beauty. Yes. It's not the first time that we hold it there, and we've seen it work. So we are believing that it will still hold. The surface is fantastic, and it's good for rugby. It's only that maybe the sides, because you see the normal pitch of a rugby is not the same as a football pitch. Yes. So there are some areas that we'll need to patch it up with some grass and ensure that for the safety of the players, first of all, and look at it and ensure that we are good to go. But it will be able to hold, I believe so.
Well, I'm sure it will hold, and also you'll do a lot of work around that. Now let's talk about Chipu, the national team, because they are preparing for this tournament. I had Coach Curtis Olago. He was speaking about Zimbabwe and Namibia, they had the edge in preparation. What's been the pathway from last year's tournament and now moving here to ensure that there's some readiness from the team?
I think as Kenya Rugby Union, we take Chipu as a very important product of ours. Why I'm saying that is that we believe that the next Simbas, then the next Shujas. Because they look at guys like Collins Injera, Andrew Monde, Kayange, we call him tall. They want to work and move on the same direction that we did. So for us, development is key, Wahome. Yes. What we are doing basically now, we are even trying to work with the National Schools, Secondary Schools Association, and have rugby in their curriculum. Why we're doing this is to ensure that when they come into rugby, it's no longer that you pick Ndale when you're in high school, then you start playing rugby then. But now, once you start playing when you're young, then you get that, you get used to the game. And before I forget, Wahome, I think, what we have also done is all schools, children's schools, students, whoever comes with an ID or a uniform, will secure a particular area for the family. The reason is to ensure that they also come and enjoy this game that they play in school and see how it's been played, so that you encourage the young lads to ensure that they come and play this game later.
I'll talk to a few headmasters so that they delay the closure of schools. No student wants to be in uniform after school is closed.
But as long as they have the ID, as long as they have the ID, student ID, It's fantastic.
And that is for high school?
Primary school, high school, even universities and colleges, yes.
Now, it's very interesting that this year, only one player is from outside of Kenya. And what's this that the coaches have seen with these players who are playing in the universities and playing for the local clubs, such that only one player from Binghamton University who's been picked in the Chipo squad?
I think, I don't want to speak for the coach, because at the end of the day, I cannot dictate for the coach what to do. The back on selection stops with the coach. Once he's done his selection, it's because there's something that he's seen in these players, and he's sure that these are the guys who are going to deliver. So I believe that's the reason as to why the coach has picked those number of players from the universities. And if you look at some of those players, they've been playing in the Kenya Cup. Some of them. So you understand Kenya Cup is one of our main premier competition that we are pushing. So for us, I think, I don't speak for the coach, but I believe, having a discussion with him a number of times and visiting the team playing, I can say that the team, I believe, is ready for the games. Well,
54-20 winners over Uganda last year. It's the opening game. They call it the Migingo Derby when it comes to rugby. What have you noticed, about Uganda? I know not much, the travel in between is not there. But what have you seen with the Ugandan side that, you play fast?
I think, not to speak for Uganda, but I think everybody comes to this competition ready to play and win. But they've been preparing, and I believe we've also been preparing. We are loading camps for our team to ensure that at least those boys that are together. For Uganda, they're in for the competition. So I don't want to speak so much about Uganda because my team is Kenya, so I want really to encourage my team Kenya to do, and we run with it.
I can see the Lion-Hearted badge is there on your official KRU jacket.
Yes.
So eventually, just taking a look at it, what is the takeouts that you'd like to see playing again? Because I can probably foresee a semi-final against Namibia, and we know the level Namibia are at, despite losing to Zimbabwe last year.
Yes.
What's it that you see with Namibia, who basically get this brush off from the close relationship with South Africa?
What I may say about that is, for me, first game at a time. I don't want to brush off Uganda, because our first game is against Uganda, and I always tell the technical bench, a game at a time. So once, and I believe we'll win, once we play with Namibia, of course, the relationship with South Africa, and also trying to create that relationship through Currie Cup, as you said, is we are playing at home, right? That's, for me, that's one pointer that I want to